This podcast is meant for mature audiences only and contains strong sexual language. Welcome to Sex, Love, and the Black Experience with your hosts, Miss Kiki Love and Miss NeshaB of Orgasmic Melanin Goddesses. We're just two dope sisters who love to talk about sex and give our amazing guests a platform to share their experiences and expertise as it pertains to sex, love, and the Black experience. So let's get started.
Welcome back, you guys. Welcome back to Sex, Love, and the Black Experience podcast. I am your co-host, Miss Kiki Love.
And I am Miss NeshaB, and we are what? The
Orgasmic Melanin Goddesses. Jinx, you owe me a motherfucking soda, bitch. Yes. And we have a special guest in the building.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yes.
We don't have
love
our
her.
pew-pews.
Yeah, we don't have no more pew-pews. God dang it. But we love this woman so much. We've been on her podcast. She's been on our podcast. We've done some amazing collaborations in the past, and we are just so happy to have her here back with us once again, Miss Amanda.
Woo! Of Amanda's Authenticity. Wait a minute, I gotta read her bio.
Yes, go on and read it, friend.
Amanda says, I am a 34-year-old single mother who believes and stands on human rights and wants to join people in making changes within our legal systems, whether it be prison, real estate, or any other form of business, bullying individuals and doing the wrong things. I love it. I love it, sis. And I know you stand on business with that because I see you a lot of times on social media. You know, you even you video yourself walking to the buildings, walking to different government buildings like, this some bull. Look at them. They said this and now they sending us over here. Now they doing this and stuff. So tell us a little bit about your journey. Like, how did this become your passion?
So the crazy thing that I do have strong beliefs in God, and I do believe everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. So honestly, prior to moving to Arizona, like, I never really looked into, laws or why things are done this way, why things are done that way. Even when I first moved out here in 2015, the first time something ever came up was when I attempted to apply for a job. Mm-hmm. They brought up something from my past from California. I had a misdemeanor when I was 19 years old. It was for petty theft. Somebody put a whole bunch of stuff in my purse, had me carried out, blamed me for it all the way. I went to jail for 3 days because it was a holiday weekend.
Oh, man.
I did an extra day,
Ooh, I can't do
it. Somebody asked for my cornbread, so I gave it to him.
Did you give it to him?
I did. Well, I ain't messing with
Not
big
with the
You can have my cornbread.
You
can't have this cornbread, but you can have that one.
Come on.
So I gave it to him. But it was just, I really, moving forward, so I've been in Arizona 9 years in October. Mm-hmm. So moving forward, now I see why they brought that up back in 2015, because Arizona is an unforgiving state. Mm-hmm. They will bring up you stole bubble gum when you were 5, they're gonna bring it up. Mm-hmm. So even then I had to fight, like, for my job, because they were like, they called me like a secret service. They called me and they were like, are we speaking to Amanda Rodriguez? I'm like, this is her. Why? They were like, we need to talk to you. They were like, you put on we specifically asked on the application, do you have any criminal history? You said no. We pulled your history. You do. I said, I had to correct them. I said, no. Y'all have on the application, do you have any felonies?
Right.
I don't have any felonies. I have a misdemeanor, yes. But that was, at that time, almost 7 years. So I was like, y'all not even supposed to bring this up in the first place, because after 7 years, they're not supposed to talk about your criminal background. So about a year later, I ended up, it got to the point where I had to actually go to California, get it expunged, so Arizona can stop bringing it up. But that's what blew my mind is California, the state I committed the crime in, didn't even talk about it. But Arizona did. So, now we want to fast forward to 2021 when my significant other got incarcerated, and I just had to really take a look into the system. Like, they really do hold anything you do against you, and they're going to continue to stack time on whatever it is. So even me, like now, if I would have done something back in 2015, they would have pulled my record and they would have attempted to give me additional time. And it can be something completely different, because that's what happened to my significant other.
Right.
In 2021 is when he got charged with the crime, and he did something completely different when he was 17 years old, that they stack time. Also, y'all already know, unfortunately, when it comes to melanated people, they stack even more. So, that's really 2021 is really when it came to my attention, and then it made sense to my crime that Arizona really likes to stack time on people. But also, what a lot of people don't know that I actually bring to people's attention is there are 14 prisons here in the state of Arizona. We don't even have that many in California, and we have.
We're in much bigger, yeah.
So, I'm a quiz you guys too, because I do this all the time. What are most of our billboards in the state of Arizona? Like, what do they have on
It's
them?
the attorneys. They're all attorney. But a lot of them are like, in a wreck, need a check,
right?
Top dog, all these different.
Right.
It's mostly attorney billboards, though. That's what you see.
So, once again, that ties into law, to legal. There are also a lot of now hiring for the police department, the sheriff's department, correctional officers. We want to give you bonuses because they go through, with the system being so corrupt here, a lot of these correctional officers will quit their jobs because they get to see the behind the scenes of how these prisoners are treated. Because that's another thing. They basically use inmates. Like, they're getting paid.
Oh, I know. I had heard here in Arizona that there were inmates that would, like, they were the secretary. I mean, they were the DMV. Like, they were the call center for the DMV. They were like level 1.
Yeah,
they
you
can only
be down.
Right. They only give you information. They can only handle up to a specific amount of information, and then if it's like going into the weeds or something, then they transfer you to another one. I was like, they using the prisoners to do call centers,
and they'll pay them. So, like, normal jobs, like labor jobs, those are like 10 cents an hour, literally. The DMV ones are. I heard
maybe
some
$1
of them,
or something.
No, I heard some of them, like you said, level 1. So level 1 is the lowest tier. You damn near about to get out. You're well privileged. You haven't gotten into any trouble, all that stuff. So I know one of my friends told me back in 2016 he was getting like $10 an hour for that. But most of the other jobs, especially like the manual labor jobs, which is even harder work, they're getting paid 10 cents an hour, 15 cents an hour. And so, it's a form of slavery. Like,
well, it is. It is.
But the only reason they can't call it slavery is because they're technically paying them to do work.
Well, it's called the new Jim Crow. That all of that started. They started back in the day with the we can get you for loitering, and now we'll put you in jail, and now we get, you know what I'm saying, and now there's there's basically labor that we can have you fixing, doing the railroads and doing all this stuff. But they would pick people up for like the dumbest stuff and just put them in jail. So and it's still going on, of course, to this day. So and we talked about melanated people because, people are like, well, she's white girl. You know what I'm saying? But yet and still, your significant other is black, right? So that's what got you into this this movement, knowing that, in addition to, well, first of all, I agree with you. We used to say when I first moved here, you come to Arizona, you come here on vacation, you leave on probation. That's what we used to say. Because they used to catch you on them DUIs. Like, I used to see people Airbnb in their house for a few months because they got to spend 4 months in what did it used to be called, Tent City, right? So I got to spend 4 months in Tent City, so I'm renting my house out. Like, I mean, it was crazy. So many people I knew were just getting DUIs like crazy. But you're saying that they went all the way back to when your significant other was 17. And did he do? And he so that was juvenile,
That was the
right?
same thing with my brother.
It's juvenile, but they charged him as an adult,
Yep.
based on the crime. So he got a crime for sorry, because I know it's horrible. My baby daddy did time too. He did it for like basically like a robbery. Now, I of course didn't know him at 17, and the story that was told to me from him is that he took the rap for someone else. Someone else actually is the one that did the crime. They and the thing that's crazy is, I guess they robbed a lady in a Fry's parking lot. The lady had $10. So my man did 8.5 years for $10, basically.
Oh wow!
But the issue with him and the reason why he got caught is because he was the getaway driver. So the person that robbed the lady got into the vehicle. He took off with the vehicle. He said that there was a female with them too. He dropped the female and the guy that robbed the lady off and then took off.
But his car, the registration and all of that. Oh,
it wasn't that. It was unregistered. It wasn't registered to them either. Yeah. So that's why he got 8.
And he didn't snitch, did he? Right, because ain't no snitching.
The same thing happened with my brother. Little backstory. A lot of people don't know this. My brother has life in prison.
At what age? And tell it what?
At 14.
14. He been in prison since 14.
And he had just moved here to Arizona from California. He already had committed a few crimes back home in California. And by the time he had just turned 15. And they tried him as an adult.
But they waited.
They waited till
he turned. They kept him in jail. Waited till he was 18 and tried him as an adult.
They didn't do that to him. They literally like tried him as an adult. And if you go read different Arizona laws, because I definitely have educated myself, especially since he's been incarcerated, based on the crime, they can do that. They don't have to necessarily send you to jail, like to juvenile hall.
But did he go to prison, or did he start in juvie first, and then when he turned a certain age, they put him in?
Yeah, so he did technically go to juvenile hall, like because he said that they came and got him at the high school. They came and arrested him at the high school and then brought him to juvenile hall. And then he did choose to get his high school diploma in juvenile hall. But he said once he transferred to prison, they had no record that he got his high school diploma, so he had to redo it in prison. But at least he redid it, because unfortunately a lot of these people literally waste their time in prison. They don't get any type of education, they don't do any type of classes or certification. So when they get out, then they'll have their CDL, they'll have some type of certification where they can actually start some type of career or at least a job.
Yeah, but it's really hard though. It's almost like it's stacked against you. Even when you come out, if you do get all the education in the world,
right,
who's gonna give you a job? Especially like you said, they keep holding shit against you. You know what I'm saying?
It depends on the company, but that's why a lot of them go to warehouses, because to be honest with you, these companies that do hire them, they're tax write-offs. So they're basically patted on the back like, that's good that you did a good deed by hiring them, like as if they're not even a person. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, oh my gosh, you were willing to take that risk by hiring them for your company, and really it's like they're a person just like everybody else.
But you find it's almost like you find a lot of people, it's like they're better off like when they come out to just become entrepreneurs and a lot of stuff, because working for somebody else, you gonna end up doing like the warehouse type of work, and then now you find yourself, it's harder to get, especially in Arizona. They say you got to make like $100,000 a year just to buy a house. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous here. So what is a warehouse job? You know what I'm saying? How are you gonna maintain that way? So then what happens is it becomes a vicious circle. My uncle, and he was murdered back in November 2022, but like my uncle had been in and out from juvie in prison, I didn't even know he was my uncle because I had never met him until he had come. My grandmother had a picture of him, and I was like, "Who is that?" And it was one of them, them jail pictures, like he like all like she was like, "That's your uncle." I'm like, I never even met him in my life, and it wasn't until he had come out. He was probably like about 18 or 19 then, and then I knew my my uncle. But it was like just the systematic, just constantly. But also, I agree with you, like that probation shit, that's another way to hold you. It's like you can't do nothing on probation because they just throw you back and throw you back, give you more time, and it's just like a vicious
it's
circle.
not like probation is not like 6 months. No, they'll put you on probation
for years.
Yeah, for 2, 3, 5 years. And you have to be on like when I tell you they'll piss test you at any time. They'll, any kind of contraband, like they'll come like to your house. Like it is literally being in prison like all over again. And it's like you're not free until you're officially released from probation.
Well, I gotta educate y'all.
Yeah.
So the way probation works is, so in the state of Arizona, which Arizona is one of the highest states that they have to complete their sentence. So for instance, mine got 9.25 on the current case that he's in. However, they're gonna let him out at 7,
right?
Because here in Arizona, you have to do 85% of your time.
Wow.
Behind bars. So when they let him out at 7, that's when he's gonna go to probation, and that's why he has to be on his P's and Q's, because they look at it like, we let you out early. At 85%, you didn't have to do your flat time. Now, of course, there are people that go in there and have to do it flat, but most people have to do it where they have to do 85% of their sentence behind bars, and then they do the rest on the street. But of course, like she said, if they mess up, then that's when they go back and
finish it.
They have to finish their time, and then 9 times out of 10, they're gonna hit them with another case too, and say you committed another crime while you were on the streets. So then once you go back and finish your sentence and you get out finishing your sentence, now you got to go to court for a new crime, and then they got to sentence you for that one. Yeah, because even his dad. So his dad did 10 years flat. Rest in peace. He actually got out in 2021 and died in 2022. He got into a car accident that they actually fell off of one of the ramps.
Ooh.
Yeah, going on the 17th, they fell off the ramp, and the car flipped over, and him and one of the other passengers ended up dying. The lady that was driving, she was the only one that survived. They're trying to get her for 2 cases of manslaughter because they said she was under the influence. So unfortunately, none of us got to know the real story, because even me, I actually took the place of my significant other, because he was in jail at the time. He hadn't got sentenced yet. So I went to the hospital when he was in the ICU. None of us could talk to him, nothing. He was on life support. And then about a day and a half later, they made the decision that they were going to pull the plug, because they were like, he's completely brain dead, like he's not going to be able. So none of us know the entire story, but from what we were told, the woman was under the influence, and then it was nighttime, and she went to go like make the turn that we have on the ramps, and then they fell off the freeway. And that's another thing that I've kind of noticed, with at least with the people that I know that have been incarcerated. It's like they do their time and they come out and they end up passing like a couple years after getting out.
Well, it's not like the greatest. They don't take care of you there. The food is shitty. My uncle, when he was in prison, he had diabetes. He was like, don't go in prison with diabetes.
Mine has Crohn's disease.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like they're not going to give you the best of health care, right? So,
because it's considered free. I mean, it's being paid for by the taxpayers, and that's why that's another thing you always hear is like, my taxes are going to these prisoners or whatever. You know, I know you've heard that before. I have. I've heard people say
but a lot
that.
of these are private prisons too, and they
some of them are, yeah.
And
they were trying to, supposedly the governor that we have currently, they were trying to get rid of the private prisons because it's looked at as a business, like it's a huge business. They're making hand over fist. They get like,
and a lot of them don't know. And then you got these corporations running prisons, and they don't really know how to properly. You know what I'm saying? They're neglecting them. They're running it. It's all about bottom line. You know what I'm saying? You can't run a prison like a corporation, basically. You know what I'm saying? So, it's you just, you know, I don't claim to be an expert on a lot of this. This is why we have you here and you learn.
Girl, I know.
You ain't had no choice.
So September
but
will
it's
be
just
3 years that I've been dealing with it.
Ooh.
September will be 3 years already because I had to do.
So he's been in prison for 3 years.
No, so he did 18 months in jail because you got to be
right.
If they don't let you out on any type of bond, then you have to do your sentence in jail until they sentence you to prison. So you got to wait that time out. Of course, we had an attorney, so we had to deal with the attorneys going to court every month, having to fight with the prosecutors, like, we want this, well, we want, you know, we're asking for this, all that stuff back and forth. And then unfortunately too, just like we talked about, the jails really are dirty. If you think the prisons are dirty, the jails are even dirtier. So 2 of the months out of the 14 months, he actually caught COVID and then when they do that, when they catch COVID, they put them in a pod with all the people with COVID. And then they don't wipe down the cells that they're in. So then the next batch of people that catch COVID, they're
going in there with all them other.
It's just going around in a circle. And what happens is, if they catch COVID and they're in a COVID pod, they're not going to pull them for their court date for that month. So guess what? Now you got to wait a whole extra month because you only get a court date once a month. So once you miss that court date, you got to wait a whole nother month before you can go in front of a judge and fight your sentence.
And so, okay, so during that time, you are, you're not even, you haven't even been, I mean, during this time, he hasn't even been found guilty or anything. He's
fighting. That's the point. The attorney, during that time, the attorney is getting all their, you know, stuff together to fight, you know, his side of the story. And then the prosecutors are putting everything together, saying like, all right, well, he's done this in the past. He's in here for this. This is what we want. Because at the end of the day, that sentencing time is the prosecutor saying, this is what we want for this man. And then the attorney is saying, this is what I want for my client. And then the judge is the final one to say, well, both of y'all want this, but this is what I'm going to give you.
Right.
Give you and you. Because
so it's still in the plea stage. It didn't go to trial. It's just
right.
He's already accepted responsibility.
It's not trial. So there's a difference too. I had to learn that too.
Right.
So there's a difference between sentencing and trial.
Right.
So for for him, he would have never chose to take it to trial because his initial reason for even getting arrested is supposedly it was a traffic stop. So he had just got done, you know, selling his drugs. I guess the police had came to the area that he was selling the drugs in, and they were questioning one of the people he sold drugs with. And so he was like, I'm out. And it's crazy because he literally had just called me. He was like, basically, I made enough money for tomorrow. Let's go take family pictures with my daughter because he considers my daughter his daughter. He's been in her life since she was 2. She's 6 now. So he was like, all right, tomorrow we're going to take family pictures. Like, everything was like, oh, okay, you know. And the next call that I got about 30 minutes later was like, they chasing me. Like, what? What do you mean? So I guess, you know, once they came and they were dealing with his friend that sold drugs too, he went across the street. Now, why he parked the car across the street, I don't know. But he parked his car across the street from where they were selling the drugs. He got in it. I guess the police were in. He parked it in the CVS parking lot. The police were in there, but they were like on the back side of it. So they were probably watching him. And they saw him get in his truck. So they came behind him. And what he did is he made a turn in the furthest lane, which, of course, you're supposed to do it in the closest lane to you. So they took that as an opportunity to pull him over for a traffic stop. So when they pulled him over for a traffic stop, his license was suspended too. And instead of just being like, you know, hey officer, what can I help you with, or what, you know, like what's going on? Because you already know they always try to play that like, do you know what you're getting pulled over for? And then, you know, they want you to tell on yourself, whatever. So instead of him doing all that, he took off after they went to pull him over. So he took off. He tried to lose them in a neighborhood. They was chasing him the whole time. They even came and sent the helicopter out. He got out the car. He left his car where it was. Now he's on foot. I guess he seen a truck drive by, and the guy was like, "Are you okay?" Because he was running, and he was like, "No, can you let me in the truck with you?" And the guy was like, "No, this is something crazy going on." Like, no. So he didn't take no for an answer, so he jumped in the back of the truck. Like, he had a pickup truck. He jumped in the back of the truck. And then I don't know how he got out of it, but that happened. And then he ended up going into different people's backyards until he came to, like, a couple where he was like, "Hey, I'll give y'all money. Like, just let me stay over here. They after me." And he said for a short period of time they did. And then when the police were like, "Hey, we know where you are," you know, it was like, "Come on, bro, like, you gotta, like, we can't be a part of this, because then you're technically
you aiding and abetting, right?
Yeah, you're a part of it." So then that's when they got him, and so he would have never took that to trial, because now you're running from the police.
Oh yeah, he would have got way more than the time he did.
You're doing all these different things. So there's a difference between taking it to trial and then just getting him for the initial, you know, charge, which they got him for drugs. They were like, so, and when I read the...
Did he have it on him?
Yes.
In the car? Oh, okay.
He had him, he didn't have him on foot, but...
They were in the car.
Yeah, girl, they tore that car up. That car was, everything was pulled out of it. Because it went to, you know, it went to the impound, and then his mom went and got it out. Because the car was actually in his mom's name. Yeah, it was like partial him and his mom, so his mom was able to get the car out. But yeah, they tore that thing up. And he also had possession of a weapon. He's not supposed to have that because he's a prior felon. So that's 5 years off top. In Arizona, you get 5 years if you have a gun. Period. So yeah, it would have been a lot longer to take it to trial. So he just, you know, took the initial charge for drugs. And then that's when the prosecutors are like, "All right, this is what we want to give him for that." And then, like I said, they approached that to the judge, like, "This is what we want to give him." And then the attorney fights and says, "Well, I don't believe my client should get that because, you know, my client was trying to provide for his family. Like, we all had to do character letters. We had to have at least 10 people write character letters because at the end of the day, the judge doesn't know you. The judge just sees you, and he's hearing this person say this about you, and this
you just some thug in front of them
I had to do that for my brother.
You got dreads. Yep. Like, you just this black man out here trying to start stuff. You got dreads and stuff. They look at that too. Like, whether people want to believe it or not, you know, he's not clean cut. He doesn't have a face.
But that's why when you see him, when they do go to trial, they make him look like Urkel. You know what I'm saying? They have glass on. They do. You know,
the judge looks at you like, you a hoodlum. You're a hoodlum.
Yeah, they did that for Jodi Arias too. Remember, they had her looking so. They had her with her little glasses on, like she just
like
Tory
Lanez. Tory Lanez had the best suit on, looking all nice and. You know, you want to be innocent to the judge because at the end of the day, they don't know you. So they literally...
So they need to understand your character.
They have your life in their hands. Because they're the ones making how much time you get. So you got to kiss their ass. You got to be like, you know, all that, Your Honor, and look the best. You know, this is bigger than an interview. This is 10 times. You know, you got to go in front and make a good impression. And the same thing with us. We had to write character letters of like, look... We know that he chose to do the wrong thing by selling drugs. However, he was providing for the family. Like, that was his best way. Just like going back to what you said about, I'm a prior felon. Right. I'm not going to get a good job out here. Selling these drugs was giving me a lot more. He would come home with $1,000 a day. You do it 7 days, that's $7,000 a week. I'm not saying it's right, but you ain't going to get that working at Amazon, like, you know. Facts. So that, you know, those are things, and certain judges do take that into consideration. Like, oh, I mean, you know, it's not right, but I see why he did it. He wasn't just out here doing it just because it's a cool thing to do. He was really legitimately, he was trying to provide for his family.
Mm-hmm.
He's a prior felon. He was trying to get jobs. They wouldn't hire him.
Mm-hmm.
So we see it, but we do got to punish you for it. And that's where, like I said, the prosecutors come and they say, like, they told the judge, like, we want to max him out at 9, because that was the maximum they could give him at the time was 9.25. So they were like, we want it. We want him to have everything. Because that's the thing. He's got to make himself look good, and they got to make him look bad. They like, look, he already did 8 years.
He didn't learn his lesson.
Right.
You know,
even
those
though
things
it's something different.
Right.
Like,
it
it's
don't
not
matter.
the same charge. It's something different. Like, look, this dude.
They clump them
all
all
he do is
together.
Oh yeah,
Start-
absolutely. Like
start problems.
Like my brother, like they did the same thing. They, oh well, this is, he was doing all this kind of stuff when he was in California. They brought up his past. They did all these things, and yeah, that when my mom was there in the courtroom, I refused to go. I refused to go to the trial. I refused to go to the Senate. I did not want to deal with any of it because I couldn't give. I still can't to this day. When they said life, my mom literally fell to the floor. It like, what?
Even for 9 years. He got mad at me because I didn't look at him when they took him out of the courtroom.
Yeah.
Because I was in such shock to hear 9 years.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking, like, because even his dad, before he passed, he's like, oh, you probably going to get like 4 or 5, But when they maxed him out at 9, like, that's almost a decade.
Yeah.
So what am I supposed to do?
Right.
Like, he's going to be a couple days from 40 when he gets out, and I'm going to be 39. And my daughter is 6. My daughter's known him since she was 2. She's going to be 10 by the time he gets out.
Yeah.
So I literally, like, I didn't know what to say, and I
Right.
didn't know how to look at
Yeah.
him. And I was like, yeah, babe.
Yeah.
Hey, bye.
Right. Well, not only that, it's like prison.
What am I supposed to do?
Prison doesn't just affect the person
No. It
that
affects
goes
everybody.
to prison. It affects
Everybody.
everybody.
Yeah. I still like I cannot go to see him. I have not seen him since he was 14 years old.
Wow. And how old is he now?
He will be 33 next month. I have not seen my brother's
Is
face.
it 'cause are you mad at him?
No.
Or you just can't?
I can't do. I physically cannot do it.
Like go visit.
Yeah, I can't.
I have to.
See, I have never.
can't.
Okay, so
I can't do it.
I had a friend who was dating. I was living in Michigan at the time. I had a friend who was dating a guy. They ended up getting married later on. And their daughter's an adult now. But he went to federal prison, so we had to drive to Pennsylvania to go see him. That was the first time I had ever been to a prison.
Right.
And it changed I was like, I thought we was going to be behind glass. No, he was like, we were sitting there at like, they on
the hug, all that.
Yeah, they look like picnic tables.
But they limit, like,
yeah, I was
stupid.
like, oh, because all I knew was TV.
Right.
So I'm thinking we going to be behind the glass door with the little thing.
Right.
We got to hug him and talk and chill and laugh.
Rock, paper,
And
scissors,
he did his little bit, and then he came, but he's an entrepreneur now. He's doing his thing. He hadn't gotten in trouble ever since. But this was like in the 90s. He was young. I think he was doing credit card. So it was federal. So that's why he got to go to. And they always say like the federal prisons are different from like the local. Honestly. Yeah, they say it's like a country club type. Ain't shit behind bars, country club to be, period.
Right.
If I can't do what I want to do.
Right.
And then my whole thing too is sometimes it's like taking these penitentiary chances. It's like, do you have something on the side? Like when you come out, so if you do your time, like if you be like, I could do that bid because when I come out, I'm going to be all right. But I'm like, if you scrimping and scraping and going to jail, like you talking for somebody for $10, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you got to come out and face the world with, and everything is stacked against you. That's what made me think about it. It was like, I got to be like, I got millions set aside. Don't nobody know about it and shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to take some penitentiary chances.
You better rob the Brinks truck and have that in the walls.
But the thing about it is like, because it's like, but now shit, and then now they RICO and everybody. And then I think it's highway robbery, the fact that they can, that the government can seize all your shit, even if you didn't get it through the crime. Like, they will come and take everything. everything.
Yep.
It don't even matter if it was, if it had anything to do with your crime. They will take all your shit. And I'm like, to me personally, I think that's highway robbery. I understand seizing based off of, you got it based off of what you did, but they will take everything. Yep. Even if you got, you know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. I know a lot of people are fighting that too.
Yeah, like I look at someone like the housewives, Teresa Giudice. When she got locked up, she got 2 years, I think it was 2 years, but her husband, he got extradited to back to Italy.
Oh, they deported him?
Yeah, because he's not a U.S. citizen. Mm-hmm. They was like, get the fuck out. So he went back, and she divorced his ass and everything. So yeah, like.
But did they seize all her shit?
Yes, they did. They seized all the assets, the home, everything. She had to start from scratch. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, and I hope when Tory I hope they deport his ass too.
Right, and so they'll even take your like, cause she was on the Housewives, like they'll take everything, even though that money had nothing to do with whatever they were doing there. She was making money, or if she had a restaurant or did whatever, they take everything. Yep. I think that should be looked at, though. I really think that's kind of questionable.
But she took it like a G, though. She took it like a G. She did.
She got her own thing. She done wrote. She done. Yeah. She back. She got money. She doing her thing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this, because it's gonna be a while before he comes back. And I know that you holding him down, right? So let's talk about what is holding him down to you. In terms of, right, holding him down. And then, does that mean that you are faithful to him? Like, how you living your life while he is locked up?
You live your fucking life. Exactly. Like, you live your life.
Well, according to him, and I know a lot of, I know that sounds bad, but I know a lot of felons. So, don't do nothing against me, because I know.
Don't tell it.
But everybody that's been incarcerated, everybody that's been incarcerated that I know, like, basically tell me not to blame him for the way he thinks, because I feel unappreciated, and we've definitely got into plenty of arguments with the fact of the main thing that he wanted me to do is not have sex with nobody for 9 years. Boy, you crazy as hell. So, and if the shoe was on the other foot, you would be doing the same thing. Right. So my thing
definitely.
Right.
My thing is, my definition of holding you down is doing exactly that. Like I said, September will be 3 years that I'm still here. I literally could block.
Put money on the books.
Girl, I done more than that. First of all, I put money towards the attorney. I put $22,000 towards an attorney. I did end up getting 7 of that back because of myself and my education. I knew that they didn't do 20. So that's another thing I want to educate y'all on. You know how these attorneys will tell you, we charge a standard rate of whatever. We're not charging you by the hour. We're not charging you by your crime. We do a standard rate of XYZ. That's bullshit. They still have to keep, at the end of the day, they still have to keep tabs of what they're doing.
What they did.
How much time they're doing, how many times have they gone to court, they gas, everything. Phone calls, all that. So, walking out of that courtroom, I was like, y'all didn't do $22,000 worth of work. There's no way. So I asked for a breakdown of everything. They tried to intimidate me and tell me, just to let you can do that, but just to let you know, if you went over $22,000, we're going to bill you. I said, that's fine, because I knew it was bullshit. So it took them a month to come back with the entire breakdown, and they called me and said, come pick up a check. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what's this check going to be for? It was for over $7,000. So that means they only did that.
Right, because they have to keep good records of, like,
they have to keep the records of everything they do. So that's just a FYI.
Yeah, that's good to know. I'm gonna call you if I need.
Yep. Right. Don't let these attorneys tell you that's a flat rate. Mm-hmm. We don't charge by the hour. They still have to keep receipts of everything, a paper trail. Mm-hmm. So yes, I put money towards the attorney. When he actually got sentenced, even in jail, in order to talk to him every day, I still. That's
JPay is a motherfucker, okay?
Right. Securus and JPay. And then there's only so JPay runs the whole country.
Yep.
Like these motherfuckers.
I know about JPay. I had
And then
somebody on
GTL is another one of these
GTL's
motherfuckers.
for jail.
Yep.
GTL is not used in prison, but it's for jail. But yes, all the phone calls, they supposedly they're trying to push for phone calls to be able to be free, because especially people that have children, like how if I can't afford to put, girl, it's like $3 per call.
Yep.
So if I can't afford to continue to put money to talk to you, or for you to talk to your child, you should still be able to have a relationship with your child just because you're behind bars. So they're trying to supposedly push like making phone calls free, but until that day, like I said, it's been almost 3 years.
Oh yeah, I
gotta pay for all them calls. If we want to text each other, because there's times when they can't use the phone, or the too many people using the phone, so it'll be a text message, because in this modern day, like, a lot of people don't really write letters anymore. I texted through the JPay allow you to. So all that,
and if you add a picture, that's
3
credit.
stamps.
That's so many stamps in it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, and then you gotta be careful the pictures you see, because they make money off them damn pictures.
Oh yeah, they'll
they be passing them around.
Yeah,
Because my uncle was asking me, like, send me some pictures of your friends, and I'm like, in their bikinis. I'm like, for what?
Right.
Talking about something, because I pass them around. These dudes, I get paid. I'm not sending my friends bikini pictures, and I definitely ain't sending mine.
Right.
I have one, like, basically like an outfit like this, similar to it, like boy shorts type thing.
He getting paid.
And no, that's why all my friends were clowning, because so I don't get the notification that it wasn't accepted. He does. So, but he doesn't get to, of course, see what it was. Like, he'll just be like, babe, something you sent me got denied, whatever. So I the one time I told him that, I was like, I sent you one in like boy shorts or whatever. And my homeboy was like, man, that CO was like, look at this. They passed him. Yeah. I was like, that's horrible. But yeah, it's better to send those type of pictures. Well, they can even still deny them physically, but 9 times out of 10, you'll get away with them physically more than over the little text. And it just depends on the correctional officer. Right. Some correctional officers be like, whatever, go. And then other ones be like, oh, no, this is inappropriate. Right. You can't look at this. Like, it's dumb. But all of that costs money. Like, putting all the little money on Securus to be able to text. Like you said, the food that they provide is not, it's the same old shit every day. Or different day, they probably Mondays is meatloaf, Tuesdays is this. So if they want food boxes with all the little, and even food boxes, it's all junk food. And it's all ramen noodles and stuff that's not good for you.
It's not healthy.
You got this whole sentence eating stuff that's not good for you. So
ain't no fresh vegetables in prison.
No.
Ain't no fruits, ain't no fresh fruits.
Ain't no Chipotle.
Right. So even though, so y'all going back and forth about this, are you honest with him? Like, that ain't happening.
If he asks, so I've even had conversations with his mom, because you got to remember his mom dealt with the same thing, because his dad was in and out while he was a child, and then he did the 10 years flat. That when he did that bid for 10 years, I think they were only together like a couple years of that, and then they split up. But his mom was basically defending him and was like, well, if you're going to do you, then y'all should just break up and just end everything altogether. And her husband was like, no, he just better not ask about it. Right. Because if he, and that's the thing, if you don't want to hear it, don't ask. But when he does ask, I'll be like, yeah, I did something 3 months ago, whatever it was.
Right.
But you expect me not to feel good about I'm a grown-ass woman.
Right. You are in charge of your pleasure.
Right.
And he can't give it to you at this point.
And
so what you
can't
gonna
give it
do?
to me in Arizona because they don't have conjugal visits.
So what you gonna do?
So it would be different if they did allow that, because that's another downside to Arizona.
I thought they stopped that nationwide.
No. California has conjugal visits. My state has.
But you would have to be married, right?
Yes. Okay. But he asked me that from the beginning. He was like, do you want to get... I told him no, because I said, I'm about to be out here fucking. Nope. I believe in marriage. I believe strongly in marriage. I like, yeah. If he asks, no, I'm not gonna go to visitation. But like, boy, let me tell you, last night.
But he shouldn't even ask. He should shut the hell up and just go ahead and do his bed and be like, babe, thanks for holding me down.
No, he's a Cancer, so he's super sensitive.
Yep. He wears his feelings on his sleeve.
Whole thing.
Shoot, you know what? It's so crazy. Like, it's like you feel blessed that you have somebody that's holding you down, because a lot of them don't.
And that's what I told him. Even like, no offense to his mom, but his mom is not even there for him like I am. His mom, the only 2 times that she's been to visitation, because he's in Tucson, so Tucson's not that far. It's pretty easy to do that trip. His mom has only gone 2 times with me. She didn't even drive there herself. She was like, "Oh, y'all going? Me and my like, let me ride with y'all." So I even told him that, like, no offense to your mama, but your mom's not even doing what I'm doing.
How often do you go visit?
Well, I haven't been able to go in a year now because he got in trouble. He got caught with contraband in there, because that's another thing. Like, you know, so you can have a job, but they told him with the fact that he has Crohn's disease that he's a liability. So they won't allow him to work. So it's like, well, how am I gonna make any money while I'm in here? I don't have nothing to help support my family. So that's another thing that be going in there, you know, be sending the little papers in there to sell on the yard, and then be having that, you know, that's another thing,
and
you know, we can't talk about.
So got for a whole year that he couldn't have visitation?
Yeah, so like how it works is, depending on your, it's called a CO3, so it's like a correctional officer specifically for you in like your pod. It just depends on what they want you to do. So, and then depending on what your ticket is, because of course, like, people get tickets for if they have phones. They actually add like additional time to your sentence when you get called with a phone.
Oh, wow.
Because you're not supposed to have a phone in there. And they know if you do have a phone, that means that somebody snuck it in. You know? So yeah, like, depending on your ticket and depending on your correctional officer, that's who determines, like, how long you don't have visits for. And then they can take phone calls away. They can take video, because we also don't technically have to go down there and visit. We can schedule a video
chat. Yep.
A video visit if we don't want to have to drive all the way down there. And girl, also too, when we go down there, we have to go through all the correctional officers too. I can't even have all the jewelry that I have on. I have to wear specific things. They be discriminating against me because I'm a bigger woman. Like, I seen some of the skinny women go in there and they side be out or they back be out. And one of the times I went, all I did was get up from the seat and my shirt came up a little bit and I pulled it down, and the correctional officer was like, "You can't come in here with that." And I was like, "What? What do you mean?" He was like, "We seen your back." I'm like, and I just lifted it and pulled it down. He was like, "Well, if you can lift up your arms and it comes up, you can't come in here." So I did it and it didn't. And he was like, "Let me go get my my supervisor." And then the supervisor came out and she was like, what am I here for? And I was like, he just let me know that if I can lift my arms up and you don't see any skin, I can come in. I did it. And she was like, "Well, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to, there's a Walmart about 12 miles down the road. You're going to go there. You're going to get something else and you can come back." And I was like, "Are y'all going to let me in, right when I come back?" She said, "No, you can come back for yours." Because it's time slots. So 8 to 12 and then 12 to 4. So literally, I missed out on 4 hours of my visitation all over my shirt. But then you get some skinny females in there that they be having stuff out. So they be discriminating in there too. I had to literally go downtown and report that correctional officer for because a lot of times when I go down there, I'd have issues with the same one. He tried to tell my daughter she couldn't come in. She was 5 years old at the time because she had on a child's outfit that he considered leggings. And he was like, "She got leggings on." She got leggings? She has a little kid outfit on. So yeah, we go through a lot too. And that's what I tell him all the time. Like, you being locked up is me being locked up, just not behind bars. I still have to go through correctional officers. I still have to deal with rules and regulations, and I can't do this and I can't do that. I still have to travel. Every time I'm going to Tucson is about $80 per visit, because also the vending machines.
Oh yeah, and then you have to have quarters.
Quarters, only quarters.
Yeah, you can only have quarters. Like when I'm telling you, when I would take my mom to go see John, my brother, we would have to get sacks of quarters.
$80 in quarters.
And my mom is a bigger woman too, so what Amanda said is very correct. You can't have your hair like that ponytail that Amanda. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You're not even supposed to have fake hair technically.
No.
I used to go in there with wigs though.
No, can't. No,
because technically you can hide something in the wig.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
No.
but I get mine installed, but
yeah.
still.
Yeah. No. Like they.
You can't have a wire bra.
Yeah. No. No. Yeah. They would pack like
You're
all this
supposed to
stuff.
wear a sports bra.
Do they give y'all all of this ahead of time to prep to
It's
know, or do they
online.
make it up?
It's on their website.
Yeah.
You're technically not supposed to wear open-toed shoes,
Yeah.
which that blows my mind, because open-toed, like, you can see everything. So there's no way of me, like, stuffing anything in my shoe because you can see it.
And it's hot in here, so who want to wear it?
You have to wear tennis shoes. You cannot wear any type of open-toe shoes. One of the girls fought it though for Mother's Day, because when we go down for Mother's Day, we do get to take pictures as long as they pay. Well, we pay for it. We put the money on the books and then they put the order in. The girl got to get in because it didn't say wedges or heels. It said no open-toe sandals. So she told them that it don't say that in there, and then they couldn't argue with her, so she ended up going in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have so
many
many rules.
are just ridiculous. And I literally would take my mom and I would wait for 8 hours in the car in the blazing sun, because there's no like hoods and nothing like that, or just sit in the car for 8 hours while she visit.
So yeah, you're right. It's like you locked up too. Locked up.
Yeah.
But the
It's a lot.
So this was my thing. I had a friend that I was sending money and writing to him and stuff, and he constantly like put my music on. I need you to reach out to these people. I need you to do all that. And I was trying to help him, but some of the things he wanted, I didn't know how to do. So I was like, well, can somebody else, But then it got to the point I was like, well, I'm trying to get my business thing. Don't nobody care about your business.
They do.
That's when I cut him off, because I was like, oh, so your shit is priority and mine isn't. That's where we ran into an issue, because I was trying to help you, and you ain't even my man. But this was somebody. He was my boyfriend when we was 15, right? And I wasn't sexually active. I was a late bloomer. Like I graduated high school and then I had sex. Granted, it was 2 days later, but I did.
That's my graduation present. Thank you.
Well, I didn't plan on it. It just was somebody
just
begged you
happened.
for 4 hours, been waiting for 4 years. It was like, okay, I guess. So,
he ate the coochie.
but he was my that hadn't even happened yet at that time. Ooh, now when that happened, that's a whole nother story. Anyway, he was my boyfriend at 15, and I wasn't sexually active, so I was like the one that got away, kind of like still fantasizing, whatever. So when we connected, he's still in prison in Michigan, and he was just like trying to, like, hey, when I get out, we gonna hook up and all this stuff. And I was like, now, first of all, he got 100 years. But he claimed it was a mistake, and he's supposed to be getting out. Every year he's supposed to be getting out. I'll be like, okay. So I was trying to help him, though, because that was my friend. We were still good friends. We did theater together years ago. And it just got to the point where he was so demanding. Like, I need this. I need you to do this. I need you to do this.
They act like we don't have a life.
Yeah, it was like and even I was like, well, I'm trying to get my business. Don't nobody care about your sex business. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody care about that. This is, this is music. I'm in the music industry. This gonna make more money than yo. I was like, that was it. I haven't talked to him since. Now, just recently, I did get a JPay thing, like, dude, and then he was like, hey, I miss you. What's going on? I'm like,
ass.
You missed that money.
But yeah, he was talking about something. Yeah, when I get out, yeah, you gonna be my woman. I was like, no, I'm not. I was like, you
married? No, she married.
This was even before then. I was like, no, of course not. That I'm married, but I was like, No, I said I ain't never gonna believe you just got out of prison. You just got out of prison, please. I was like, you might get some, but we ain't gonna be together because I don't trust no dude that just got out of prison that he gonna be faithful to me. I was like, get the hell out of here with that. Yeah, I was like, go ahead and do your thing. Now you might get some because I know you've been waiting on it for some years, but that's it. But yeah, that's what I'm saying is like they feel like they want you to take over. It's like your life doesn't have any precedent. You know what I'm saying? They want you to do whatever you gotta do for them.
Know what is actually going on out here?
Right.
Like you don't live my day to day life with me. Like you don't understand. You know that I'm out here. Like especially in my circumstance, I'm a single mother. You know that, but you're not taking that into consideration.
Right.
Every day I have to take my daughter to school. Every day I have to take her to karate or soccer or whatever she's doing at that time. I may miss your call. My bad. I'm not looking at my phone waiting for you to call.
Because you busy.
Like, my bad.
Yeah.
Or I might text you back hours.
Yeah. I got a life,
I might
ninja.
text you back hours later. Like,
yeah.
And you be like, I text you 4 hours. Okay, I'm not staring at my phone, but I got back to you.
Yeah.
Like, at least I got back to you.
Well,
like,
we gonna wrap this up, but I just what advice would you give to somebody in your situation? Like, if they have a partner and that or a significant other that is now facing prison time or going to prison, what advice would you give to a person?
Well, not to toot my own horn, but you do have to be a strong individual to do that, to be with the person, and definitely live your life. I'm sorry. I would say if somebody is with somebody that has like 1 or 2 years, that's doable. You can be like, all right, I'm gonna chill out for 2 years or whatever.
Right.
But somebody like that got 4, 5, 6, I'm sorry, but you got to do you at the end of the day. And like I said, if the shoe is on the other foot, they be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So
Period.
just, if you do feel like you are going to be together when they do get out, hold them down, be there for them emotionally, especially like mentally. They do need people to be there for them mentally because that's a lot to not know what's going on in the free world, have to do the same thing every day, look at these same people every day. I gotta see your ass and we ain't even together, you know what I mean? They over there not getting none. I mean, hopefully they ain't,
Right.
hopefully they ain't getting done in the, in the booty, please, because that's what my mama said.
But a lot of them I hear they be doing the female guards.
Yeah, that's
we ain't gonna go there, but go ahead.
But yeah, if you do plan on being with that person, just like I said, hold them down mentally, financially as much as you can, but live your life. Because there was some girl in there that used to go to visitation almost as much as me and my daughter, and her and her man got into it while we were all there because he has been locked up for 6 years. I guess he's supposed to be, well, at this time now it's been a year. He probably is out now, but he only had a short period left. And she literally tried to tell me, because we're not allowed to talk to the people, other visitors, other wives, girlfriends and stuff. So we all talk in the parking lot. Like, we'll talk with each other. But this girl tried to tell me and another girl on a different day, oh, girl, I didn't understand. I said, girl, you a damn lie. There ain't no way you've been 6 years without getting none or at least getting it licked, something.
Right.
And she was like, no. She was like, no, I've been. I was like, and so it's funny because a couple weeks after she told me and that girl that, she told her man the same thing, and they ended up getting to it. He was like, girl, you ain't got to lie. And I said the same thing. And that's when I told my man, you see, like, y'all ain't going to believe it anyways. This girl's literally swearing to her man, I have been faithful to you for 6 years. But I tell you the truth. No, I haven't.
Just like that Keisha Cole song. I might as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So that's my advice is don't ever let because that would be allowing that person to control your life. Because I told him the same thing. I said, I'm not going to lie to you. If I have sex with somebody unprotected and I get pregnant, I guess that's the route that God wants me to go. Because I am at risk of doing that by being sexually active. I could technically get pregnant. In 9 years, anything could happen. I could get pregnant by somebody. But I do have to let you know I'm going to be out here.
You got to do you.
Getting it in.
Period.
Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for coming. We are so glad to have you.
Yes.
Yeah, and of course, anytime. You know, we've been really big on collab and all that kind of stuff. And you gotta join. We got a Facebook group for people in the like pleasure community, but also people who are allies of it. So definitely, and we're doing it based on like business. Like I'm about to do something to post about, you know, how to do your one to two pager business plan, so you can really understand like what your purpose in business is. So just sharing best practices and really uplifting, empowering, educating each other, and helping us, you know, build up them coins. You know what I'm saying? So definitely we love you to be a part of it. And thank you so much, Amanda. That's Amanda's Authenticity.
Yes.
And we do have all the ways that you can reach her. So we will have all of that in the show notes. Make sure that y'all follow her and, you know, give her some love and uplift her and hold her up.
If
and
y'all want this class, I'm
yeah,
gonna have a prison white class.
You should.
I actually want to write a book. I'm not even gonna lie.
Should.
I actually want to write a book about it and what it's like to be a significant other of somebody that's incarcerated. And you know, because a lot of times women do like to like, am I the only one?
Yeah,
am I the only one?
Well, I'll tell you this right now. We took a class, and I think I got some slides on the lady who wrote a book, and she talks about, you know, being an author and stuff, going the traditional way or the Amazon publishing or whatever. So we'll take that offline. But you know, anything that we can do to help support you and whatever it is you're doing, you know, we got you.
Appreciate it. Thank y'all ladies for having me.
You're welcome. And this is Sex, Love, and the Black Experience family. Thank y'all for supporting us. Please follow us on all social media platforms. We will have this in the show notes as far as Amanda and all of her social media in the show notes. And anything else you want to add, friend?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Thank y'all, and we'll be out. Peace, family. Peace.
Thank you for watching Sex, Love, and the Black Experience podcast. Please continue to tune in and keep watching. And follow us at omgoddesses.com. Join our VIP list. Or Facebook and IG at omgoddesses20 and Twitter at omgoddesses.